So I'm just gonna wait a second, just getting my notes together. I'm gonna do the RS24 Pro live review today. I'm gonna show the tablet, go over the features, show like the pen stuff and all that. I'm also gonna show the differences between my old screen and the new screen. I got the new glove on, and also I'm gonna show some work I started last night in terms of painting. So you'll see where I'm at with that. So first, for everybody who was watching yesterday, I got the new setup now, so I'm still getting used to it. It's a lot easier now. I got I actually use my chair. I'm sitting at a desk. I'm not hunched over, so it's very, very awesome for me. So let me just flip this over here. All right. So on my left, got the 22E. And this is the 24 Pro here. I'm probably gonna flip my screen over for this, just so you can see both. So, real quick, let me bring this down. So this one, well, let me start with this. The old one was 1080p, which is typical for like the lower end and the budget graphic tablets that you see out there. Or the difference value, you know, even Wacom's lower ones are 1080p. Xpen is a 22E, Julian, what's the other brands like Parblo, Gauman. They usually stay at 1080p. That's like their sweet spot in terms of how it looks and the price, and that's why they're way cheaper than the Wacom ones. Obviously, Wacom is the high end of high end, so you know, if you're gonna go professional work, they use Wacoms, which is fine, and Wacoms are amazing. I had an old Cintiq and it was beautiful, but Wacoms cost a lot of money. So now this one here, the RS24 Pro by Xpen, is basically them now making a professional level tablet where it's not budget, because this tablet is basically, after taxes, going to be about $1,000. So it's not budget, but it's still competitively priced compared to the Wacom equivalents. So, well, these I will put these in their own category with all those other ones where they're like the budget ones. This is more if you want to do like a professional workstation, then this is now like a viable option in terms of the Wacoms. So the only equivalents for this on the Wacom side would be their Cintiq 24 Pro and the 27 QHD. Both of those, in terms of the specs, are still a little bit higher than this in terms of, for instance, the screen resolution. This is a 2K screen. Well, like I said, this is 1080p, and the difference just in terms of the fidelity, I should say, is insane. So one thing, like, and this will also show the colors. So this is my Captain Marvel piece, and just in terms of when you see like on the 1080p screen, you know, it looks great, it's fine. But then when you look on the QHD, the 2K, you can really see how the colors pop off, the blacks come in, how crisp the lines are. Everything comes off super crisp, where on this it's not as crisp. If you didn't see this, then this is perfectly fine. But once you see the difference, there is a big difference. I'll show you another piece. So again, the Harley piece, you know, colors come out great. But I'll show you the difference in terms of, for instance, the chains here on the 2K screen. The chains just pop off the screen. So that's all because of the 2K resolution. And then in terms of like the colors, I haven't color corrected this tablet yet at all. This is straight out the box. The colors look really nice. In terms of the brightness, I haven't raised the brightness at all. Actually, I don't want to raise it because I found like this brightness is perfect for me, and this is only at the middle. It's right directly in the middle in terms of the brightness. One other thing, in terms of like the specs, I'll just go run now quick through the specs. It's 90% of the Adobe color gamut, which is comparable, like I said, to the Wacom now, well, where the older ones were usually about between 75 to 80%. So the colors on this are fantastic. Obviously it's the 24 inches. The pen is it's like standard now, the 8192 pressure. In terms of the software, let me show you that real quick, because this was one thing where I had a older tablet before I got the XP pen, my old XP pen, and that was a very budget tablet. I just needed something for then, and like the software wasn't great. So this is like the standard XP pen software, you know, pressure sensors is what you always see. Then because of the XP pen has 20 express keys and then 2 reels, everything is fully customizable here, so you can set it up exactly how you want it. Default, the left one controls the canvas size and zoom in, zoom out, and the right one controls the brushes. You can set up however you want. The only thing that I set up here, since I use my Tourbox does everything else, was like the cut, delete. I set that up for here, so that way if I'm working on something real quick and I'm cutting something out, I can just press it while I have the screen out. In terms of the parallax, because a lot of people talk about the parallax and stuff like that. If you don't know what that is, that's basically the difference between the screen and the cursor when you put the pen to the tablet. So on a lot of older tablets, when you would put the pen to the screen, there was a difference that you could see. It was offset or stuff like that. In the lower end tablets, sometimes the offset could be pretty big. You get used to it as you're working, so it doesn't affect you too much, but it's something people care about. This one has, they basically did a new screen in terms of how they manufacture it. So it's super thin. I believe they said it's like less than 3 millimeters. And like there's like almost no parallax. Like if you're looking at my cursor, it's right on the pen. Like there's like this you can see here. That's what I'm talking about in terms of the 3 millimeters when you're looking from the side. But when you're actually working on the pen, the cursor is right on the pen. So that's very nice. So I'm gonna open up Photoshop. I'm gonna go through the pen registration, how everything works. So I'm gonna actually have my minion here. My daughter's gonna hold the camera. I'm gonna flip it up right now. So let's hold this here. So I'm just gonna show you guys like when I first got it, I was messing with it, doing the testing the line weights and different things. Zoom in over here. The closer. You can get very thin, light lines. Like when you zoom back, you can't even see those lines. There's another one where I was testing the lines. One thing I was testing, because it happens to me a lot, in terms of doing my signature comes out crisp when I do it. Again with line weights. Drawing hair, like the hair comes out crisp. Alright. Looks at very thin lines. So I'm gonna just go here. You ain't gotta be that close. Alright. So one thing on a lot of tablets is in terms of the pen registration. Sometimes you will start a line and you'll start drawing, but the line won't come out till like a split second after. This has like almost no pen registration. It starts right away. You can get like I'm touching this very softly, and you can see getting very thin lines. And then with the sensitivity, the pressure, you could get nice thick lines. One thing, let me find here, I don't have a ruler. Or a sticky pad. In terms of line jitter, so like on my older tablet, if I did a line, straight line, you might see little jitters here and there. This is their new Pro Pen. It has like almost no jitter. If you do like a line, it's super straight. Like if you use a straight edge, there's no jitter. Let's see here. Let me change my brush out. So this is another one. I'm going to do a big brush to show you in terms of the pressure sensitivity. Like you start off very, very soft, and then as I'm just adding a little bit of pressure, you see it start getting darker and darker. And then I'm going to start letting off the pressure. And the gradient in terms of the smoothness with the pressure is a lot better than it was on my older tablet. So like I said, it's the sensitivity, the pen registration, it's amazing. It's very similar to the Cintiqs now. Like it's getting up there where there's now going to be a lot of competition in terms of how things work. Obviously Cintiq is top of the line, but not everybody could afford top of the line. One other thing in terms of how responsive it is, you see what I'm going here, all around the edges. Sorry, there you go. All around the edges. Super smooth, it doesn't get stuck. Sometimes on my other tablet, if I'm doing something and I'll get too close to the screen, it'll jump out and the cursor just goes everywhere. This does not do that at all. Like I can go work all the way here and it's still gonna register the whole thing. It doesn't jump out, it doesn't do anything. What was I supposed to show? One second. In terms of, let me see here. Here we go. Fine line work. This is it's a very smooth fine line brush. I'm like just barely touching the screen. I'm gonna zoom in on this so you can see it. Go right here. Barely touching the screen and you can see my lines. Amazingly responsive. So if you're doing like your cross hatching or anything like that, it works beautifully. Like there's no having to pull down on the screen when you're beating up your screen. It's like just working with a pencil. It's super smooth, super light. Can barely touch it. One other thing, I'll show you here. I'll go back to the regular brush. In terms of the curves, because on my other tablet and other budget tablets, when you go and you do curves, you see it judder, and you'll see it. The curve has like a rough edge. It won't be super smooth. So in terms of this is a soft brush, and then I'll do it with a hard brush. silky smooth. Like, going close over here. It's no judder. Like, it just follows the pen. It's nice and smooth. Like the go back. The pen drawing experience is just amazing in terms of what I was used to before with my old 22E. It's such a big difference. Like, even if I'm going faster like this, there's no judder, there's no loss. You're not getting where it just registers a part of the line or anything like that. It freaking goes very smooth. Let me see. Quick button features like on the pen or on the tablet. If you mean I'm not sure exactly what you mean here. Well, on the pen, it's just the normal, like, the 2 buttons there that you could program. Right now it's just set to pen and eraser mode, since it doesn't have the eraser here. For some reason that bothers a lot of people. It doesn't bother me, because I find pressing this easier than having to do this and this. It's just preference. So that's always set. I always had that set to that, and then the other button is just like my mouse pad button. These here, so the side of the tablet, these are fully programmable. So right now, like I said, they're set to go zoom in and out and brush. I've been scared to make any lasers on this, so I'm not sure yet. That might be beyond the capabilities of this, but that might be beyond the capabilities of a Wacom also. So I don't know. Before I go into the last of it, let me. Where did I have it here? Open recent. So this is what I started working on since yesterday. My mouse pieces that I'm doing. So if you go like this, is full painting. I'm just painting it out, and like with this tablet, it's like such a pleasure working on it. Like just doing the paintings and putting the textures in and stuff like that. It's a pleasure. Like I'm really enjoying it. Now that I have the arm, like I said, I can just work here like this, and I'm just sitting here like, come behind me. I can lean it back in, and I can just work like this. I can have it all the way swung out here like that. Ignore that, I have something on the table. So the swing arm makes such a big difference in terms of how comfortable I am when I'm working. There's no more I have to be here like this and have to have it angled up or down. Now I can have it exactly where I want it, right here. This particular arm, if there was only one thing I wish this arm did, I wish it went down maybe an inch and a half more, just so the bottom could be like right here. But I'm not gonna complain. Like, this is perfect. I could sit here and just work like that, and it'll be awesome. Exactly. I mean, for some reason, some people consider me a professional artist. So I gotta look it now. I gotta look like I'm actually know what I'm doing. So this makes it look like I know what I'm doing sometimes. So that's basically the tablet in terms of, like I said, the responsiveness is amazing. The screen size, obviously, the bigger the better. The 2K, like I showed the difference between the two pictures. It's, until you see it, you don't realize how much of a difference it makes in terms of when you're working and different things like that, how you can zoom in and you don't get it distorted. Just having the resolution also in terms of my layout, since everything is crisper and smaller now, you get more space. The text, even though the text is small, it's completely readable. Like, she zoomed in here, but when you zoom out, like, that text is really small, but it's so crisp. Oh, let me see here. There was one other thing I wanted to show, but I don't remember off the top of my head. I can't think of it. Like, go here. Like zoom in. Like, it blows me away how crisp the chains are as you zoom out, and you can still see the chains and everything. Like it's such a difference. So, like I said before, let me put this back here. So when I'm done, it just sits right there. Yeah, so like I said, I'm like extremely happy with it. Like even last night I was sitting here, I had my feet up on the bed. I just had the tablet right in front of me. I'm just painting. My wife's watching her Lifetime bull crap, and it was like so pleasurable to be able to just relax, be comfortable, and work. I wish I did this sooner. Part of it was the funds, but like I said, it's not cheap. Like I said, it's not budget tablets anymore. It's now a professional workstation. If you're like a professional artist and you're looking to move up into that digital field where you have a nice big drawing tablet screen and tablet experience, before it was like either you get like a budget one where it worked and it was fun, and no knocks against it. I've been using that one for years and it was great, but you always want, but I want the Lamborghini, I want that Wacom, but they were always so expensive and it was so hard to justify the price of paying that kind of money for something like that, especially for the new Cintiqs, which like they, not for nothing, Wacom is getting Apple-ish now in terms of their Cintiqs. So for instance, like I said, the two equivalents for this tablet in terms of what I would compare them to will be the new Wacom 24 Pro, which they have two versions. They have a non-touch version, which is $2,000, and then $400 for the stand. You don't get the stand. The touch one was $2,500, and then $400 for the stand. Or the 27, the QHD 27. Now the Wacom one, the Cintiq 24 is 4K. I as seen as good as this 2K is, I could only imagine the 4K. But the QHD 27 is also 2K, and I know a lot of people have actually said they prefer that one over the Cintiq 24. Just for one, obviously the 27 inches, those 3 extra inches is a lot. Like I said, my old tablet was a 21.5. This is straight 24, and those extra inches, 2.5 inches, big difference. But that QHD is, I believe, $2,500, and then the stand. So unless you're getting a lower model Wacom, you're not getting a stand anymore. They got the little cheapy legs, and you can only have it laying flat on the table. So now this is a viable alternative in terms of if you want that pro station with a lot of the features that Wacom have in terms of the build quality, in terms of the pen responsiveness and all that. Like I said, it's $1,000. It's not cheap no more. Like I said, this is not a budget tablet. I wouldn't call it a budget tablet because that's a big chunk of change someone has to put down. But it's a very, very viable alternative in terms of, you know, what you get for your money. I've seen other reviewers, basically the way they described it was the Wacoms was like buying a workstation desktop, and getting this is like buying a gaming desktop, where they're both amazing. They're both great for the things that they do. but you know, not everyone needs a workstation. Not everyone could afford a workstation. So yeah, like I said, 3K for a Wacom is, if you're not at that professional status where you're working for like Riot Games or working for a movie company where you're working on it all the time, or an artist that's constantly pumping out work for Marvel, DC, or whatever, it's not, honestly, it's not worth it. You're buying, unless money is no object to you, then obviously you know which one to get. But for the average artist, you don't need that $3,000 Wacom. Like I said, you can use the budget tablets and pump out amazing work. And the average fan, most of the fans, they're not going to care what you drew it on. So you know, a lot of people put that budget tablet name and think it's a downgrade in terms of quality. The only downgrade is in terms of the features, but in terms of the work that comes out of that tablet, that's up to the artist. So I mean, I can get I could be a crappy stick figure artist. My stick figures would look just as good on a $3,000 Wacom, and then on a $400, $500 22E. Those stick figures are going to look exactly the same. So it's all about the work that the artist puts in. So at the end of the day, like I said, I love this tablet. Like I was blown away when I first started testing it. I'm so happy that I have it now. Once again, huge thank you to Xppen for sending this out to me. I'm going to put up my links and codes and everything for this later tonight. I'm going to make a post and put it in. I'm going to have this video on my IGTV. I'm also going to do a more in-depth review like I did with the Tourbox, and I'm also going to do some of the live painting on my mouthpiece, but that's going to be on my Patreon. So if you want to see that, you know, plug, sign up for my Patreon. In terms of like the tutorials and the videos and all that, that's available to anyone on the $5 tier now. So I have like a base $3 tier. You just get free artwork on that. So if you want to see the videos and want to see the tutorials, it's $5 and up for that. I'm waiting for my 4K camera to come in, and then I'm going to start setting up to do some live streams and voiceover tutorials. That's coming in, I believe, sometime next week, Monday or Tuesday. And I'll have that set up here. Appreciate everybody who was watching. This will be up on my IGTV, so you can go check it out then. Like I said, I'm all in on this tablet. This tablet is amazing. It's not just because I'm working with Xpen now. I was using their products before that. I like them in terms of how good they work. So, like I said, if you're looking for a tablet, if you have some bucks to spend but don't have Wacom bucks, I believe like this is basically the only option for you in terms of if you want something professional where you're going to have a lot of the bells and whistles. Alright, so I'll check you guys out. Peace, and I'll see you guys out there.